All right, now that the unmachined part is actually set up in the mill, I'm going to just demonstrate to you how we do what we call touching off the machine. Now, you'll notice here I have a sample piece that says TECH, T-E-C-H. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to mill out the word TECH for us. Now, by the way, this is not something you're going to do without your instructor. You need to make sure you call me over and I make sure we verify that we're touching off the tool correctly. Because if it's not touched off correctly, the possibility for us to make a mistake is pretty great if you're not experienced with the machine. So this is the CAD portion. I'm going to click on the CAM portion, and that's what it looks like right there. If I click the 3D button, we'll see if it gives us the 3D look, and it does. All right, you'll learn about those in other videos if you haven't already. And now we're going to actually do what we call referencing or touching off the machine. So this is called touching off the actual workpiece. So I'm going to hit the machining section, which is this third button up here, right to the top of the screen. I'm going to zoom in here just so you can see it. It's this button furthest to the right. Right there. That's the machining. And when I do that, it says machine door open down here. No problem. So it's going to close that door up. You can hear it close just like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and it says reference the machine. So I'm going to hit reset. And the reference button is actually right up here. It looks like the old nuclear power symbol or something. So that's right there where that mouse is. All right. So when I click that button, I'm going to swing around real quick with the camera, and you'll see that the machine is actually resetting itself. The turret goes up, the vise moves around there, the table it's called, and we are now at what we call machine 0. So it now knows that, hey, this is my initial starting point. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that turret down so that the top of that workpiece is just touching. I'm going to go through it pretty quick, but again, this is something that the instructor, as in me, will help you with. So what we're going to do is we're going to call up two things. First of all, on the left side of your screen over here is that little X button. That's our position display. And that will bring this little window over here up for you. All right. And then we are going to click on the tool that says Tool Change. And that is right below that button right here. All right, and we're going to call up the 1/8 inch end mill. Now this is actually a good exercise. This actually says 1/8 inch end mill is loaded up. That's not what I have in my machine right now, but just for purposes of demonstration, we're going to assume that it is. So what I have right now is a 3/16 inch bit, so that would say 3/16 inch bit. But because I've written this program in particular with TECH to be 1/8 inch end mill, we're going to just assume that that's correct. So I click on OK, and now it actually, if you look over here, you can see that bit right up here is now represented there. Okay. Now on your number keypad, so you're going to look down here on the number keypad. Notice that I have the number lock off. Number lock is on, and now I'm going to turn it off. And as if I hit the 2 button, you can hear it in the background a little bit. My turret is going down. That's the Z up, Z down. Now if I hit this 1, that is sending the table backwards. This is sending the table forwards. That's the Y. And then the 4 and the 6 are back and forth. Now another thing is the plus and minus. The plus actually ramps up the motor speed. Minus will ramp it down. All right, we'll show you what that looks like over here at the mill. I'm hitting plus as I'm going down. Now I'm hitting minus and it slows it down. And you can hear the motor actually ramping down a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue down here. I'm going to use those keys that I just showed you to make sure that I'm getting very close to the top of this. Now I'm hitting the minus button, And I'm going to zoom in here so hopefully you can see this really detailed. Get the autofocus going here. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to touch that piece, the top of that piece, just do what we call scratching it. We're going to scratch that off. And that's pretty good, just about like that. Okay? Now, if I look back over here at the computer, you're going to see that this Z right here says negative 2.35. Well, that's not what it is. So that right there does not match what's going on over here. As a matter of fact, if you look over here on the side view, it's showing that that drill bit is all the way down here, and that's not true. It's actually up here. So the way I do this, it's pretty simple. I'm going to go up here to Edit, Mark NC Workpiece. You see our X, Y, and Z menus come up here. Now if you watch this, the workpiece offset Z has this number. If I click on this little diamond next to it, it changes quite drastically. Now I'm going to come over here, and if I click OK, let's see what happens. There you go. Now you can see now that the vise is now in position. Or I'm sorry, the workpiece is now just touching the top. Now what I do is I'm going to ramp this up. I'm going to bring this quite a bit above the workpiece, and then I'm going to move it so it's over what we call our reference 0. Slow it down quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here so you can see this. And I'm going to literally move this around so we can just touch it. Okay. Now, that's a little bit above where I should be. What I'm trying to do is get it to just touch the top left corner of it. So if I look at it straight like this, I'm fairly well in line there with that left edge. Looks like I'm a little far forward, so I can move that around. So essentially what I want to make sure of is that this, that's where my bit is. That's my bit moving back and forth there. That is matching up to what's going on in real life. And I'm just going to move my Z down so you can see it's just touching the top of that workpiece. I'm right over it from the top view, and if I look over here, that's pretty darn close to 0. Okay, you can see I'm just a little bit off, but that's pretty darn close. So that, I would say I'm pretty confident that this program is going to work. But of course, you're going to confirm that with your instructor before you do any milling. And then when you actually get ready to mill, you move the Z axis up here, and then you're going to go ahead and mill. So that's how we touch off the tool. So by watching this video, when your instructor goes through it in real time, you should have a better understanding of what that means. And you have to do that with each and every part, making sure you touch off that Z-axis and confirm that what's happening here on the mill is happening over here on the computer.